Thanks, Jarrett. Indeed, it could be. Wow, how good it is first looking here.
What a great series so far. 3 games and all of them were great. Now we're heading into a 4th map. Daybreak is going to be the map. And yes, first could take it right here and there. Will Dream have an answer? Is he able to tie the series once again?
We shall see, as we do have spawning up to our top right-hand corner here, as our Blue Protoss, 1 game away from being crowned the champion of Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. Give it up for LG IEM's first.
His opponent is down a game. He needs to win 2 maps in a row to be the champion. He's starting to the bottom left of the map. It is MVP Dream.
This is that map. This is Daybreak. This is that map that I do love my gateway aggression on after the end of this tournament. It's very strong. You can bust your opponent on 2 base very, very effectively here as a Protoss. Dream is going to have to account for a lot of possibilities here from First.
Yeah, definitely. First has a lot of potential here for gateway aggression. He could do it. We've seen it several times at this tournament. This is definitely a strategy that he has shown himself, and Dream has to be very careful. In a lot of these games, he was trying to go for a good economy and just end it up in the late game. He has a strong late game. We've seen him with this 2-base aggression when he just cuts SCVs for a long time, then accuse himself a lot of units in the mid game with good upgrades, and with the first 2 to 4 medivacs, he starts to put the aggression out there, moving in, putting a little bit of danger to the expansion while just dropping into the main base. And First has been, well, he has been in a position where this every single time did some damage, taking down the Twilight Council, and in game number 2 even taking down the entire con.
Yeah, it's been fantastic recuperation in terms of, resilience from First here, going up against Dream, and Dream has looked phenomenal all tournament. It's hard to actually dispute that, but First bringing it very, very strongly here, and First, thankfully, in my opinion, not skipping that initial Zealot.
He has the Zealots here indeed, and he's not going for such an aggressive Nexus as we have seen on Entombed Valley. With a map like this, and with always the danger of there being a second barracks, something that Alive has shown in Korea for a long time, he doesn't want to risk it. He goes for his Cybernetics course first. The Zealot is there as well. They're going for the Stalker. A pylon to the left side can be used later on to spot Medivacs. Building it there very, very early in the game, going for the gateway research now, and we're going to find out very, very soon what First is up to.
That's an extremely interesting early pylon out there. It's not exactly in the most aggressive position, but it's something that is going to be intriguing here as the game goes on. This probe somehow, some way manages to sneak his way through a minefield of 3 Marines and escape with his life.
Yeah, it's gonna escape. Expansion for Dream with double barracks follow-up, then going into the gas, double refinery, whereas First now just starting his own Nexus after the first and initial gateway. So he's going into the expansion. We will see him either with additional gateways now to be in a position where he can defend against aggression early on, or straight into the robotics, whereas we will see the Observer to find out what's going on.
Still more pylons littering the map here for First. Just, I guess he's saying, well, I'm not going to lose my pylons at my production facilities. I'm going to position them here just to be acting as really, really early scouting potential. Robo facility now on the way for First, and, I mean, that second pylon that he's positioned on the map sort of leans towards a very early third.
Oh, wow. He has to drop a force field at the ramp to make sure that the SCV is not able to get in there. But yeah, the pylons that you just mentioned, he's scattering them everywhere. Perfect scouting information for him. He needs them at some point in the game, so he's just throwing them out there. Marine run-bys for Dream at this point, not really an option for him. He will be spotted, and this is exactly what's going to happen. Once again, Dream, he has shown this in the past few games, and he's showing it again. He's skirting those Marines at the bottom right now. He's completely dodging the range of the Zelnaga Watchtower, and the Marines will find the pylon and take it down, but still, this allows First to prepare for the aggression, and he's not going to lose any probes.
Yeah, it's better than losing. It's better losing 100 minerals than it is those probes, as you rightly point out, and it gives First such a good heads up here. He's adding on more gateways. These are the standard 2 extra gateways that you would go for that 3 gateway robo facility play, and that Stalker, well, he's in hot pursuit. He doesn't want to be too careful though.
Think about it. Those pylons, this is 100 minerals. If he takes down 2 probes, that's even more than 100 minerals, because it's the production resources and the lost mining time. So this is at this point definitely worth it for him. He just wants to be safe here. He knows that he's ahead one game. And we have him still with those stalkers on the map, with that presence. Whereas Dream is now supply blocked. First was actually supply blocked for quite a while as well. So Dream at the bottom left now with the additional supply depots. Did he actually call down extra supplies? No, he did not. He lined them up well enough to make sure that the supply block didn't affect him too much.
And it's interesting that you bring that up about the pylon being, you know, a better sacrifice than the pros, because that gives us a little bit of an indication to say, well, first, if he says that, if he's thinking that, and would rather lose the 100 minerals than probes, he's then saying, I want to retain these probes to go into a longer game, because the longer the probes are alive, the more they're going to be able to mine later on. So it really, at first here, he has the options. He's going for his armor, he's going for the Robo Bay, but I wouldn't be surprised if he draws this out a little bit.
And with 36 harvesters, we have a very aggressive army here for Dream. Dream is currently looking at an army supply of 26 against 12. He's moving out onto the map. He's lining it up with his stim upgrade. We have +1 attack also on being researched, as well as combat shield. The medivac's out, and once again, this is the time where he starts to SCV it up again, whereas first is trying to get the Colossus out so that he can deal with this aggression.
Yeah, that Twilight Council indeed on the way. We do have that +1 armor on 50% done here. Dream bringing down that middle rocks just to make it a little bit easier for him to actually reinforce across the map. And from that point on, can put on even quicker aggression here against first. So Dream may be looking to go for some very, very, very strong pressure.
Yeah, definitely, indeed. We have at this point now the medivac's going across the map. He's getting additional 4, and right now what we are going to see is him trying to put on this aggression that we have seen in the last few games. He wants to go not only for the expansion, but also have the potential drop in the main base. And we've seen this pylon. This is one of the reactions of first. This is what he wants to do. He's trying to get up the ramp, but there comes the force fields, and the medivac is evacuating the last few Marines. Well played here. He needs to get the rest of them out of there, though.
There's quite a lot of Marines trapped in there. That Colossus steps forward just a little bit too far, but minces of all of those Marines. They get picked up just slightly. That one medevac escapes. Dream goes blow for blow with his opponent for now.
Yeah, Dream has at this point more army supply. He's behind in the economy. No, actually he's not. With the worker supply, he's 6 workers down. He has the double mule, so he's completely fine here. Charge, once again, being the upgrade. And Charge just helps you so much. But if you go for the Blink upgrade early, you can lay a trap against the drop play. But if you go for Charge, it's better for the fight. And this snipe, of course, brilliant.
Very nicely positioned there by First, as for now we still have Dream being ever the aggressor in the middle of the map, trying to keep his opponent back whilst he takes his third base, as it was slightly blocked there. That third command center's on the way, the armory is on the way, so he can start those +2 armor weapons when it gets going, and Charge and +2 armor going down for First.
First knows exactly that Dream wants to pressure him. He has once again a pylon to the left side of the map. This pylon to scout the medivacs. That's what it's for. +1 armor now being researched for Dream, of course. And we have one SCV being attacked at the third base by the Pro, but a stim by Dream, making sure that the Harvester is not dying, that there is no delay for this base.
First here, falling back onto his third as well, so very, very even. We have a few barracks being added on for Dream, and Dream has sort of given up a little bit of this middle ground position. He's looking to threaten with the drop, but First is separating his units very, very effectively here. Even with the army in the middle of the map, he's keeping around the watchtower so he can see exactly where his opponent's going to be moving in when he wants to, and well, here comes the drop again.
Can he pick off another medivac? No, he can't. Dream paying attention, having a quick look at the vision, seeing the stalkers, and I like that First really positions them there. This is something he didn't do in the past few games, so right now he's much more focused on his defense and going again into the Templar Archive, drawing this game out. We have a late game scenario just evolving right in front of us once again.
Wow, actually, look at this Dream going for the double expand here. Was not expecting that, but he's now wanting to fly straight into that big, big macro play, which, you know, I mean, on a map like this, with the Terran macro that we've seen across the board all tournament long, it's very, very strong and very, very deadly for even First to deal with.
And First with the third base now. And he's spotted, this has been scouted, and Dream is now also in the middle of the map. This is all about the positioning, about having the scouting information where your opponent currently is situated with his army. And First is now moving to the bottom left, and Dream at the same time is passing at the top of this game. So suddenly he's in a good position, picking off those high Templars. He has to move them into Archons. This is buying him some time, but Storm is not an option either way because he's only halfway done with the upgrade itself.
A little bit of a drop heading in by the looks of things here. Dream trying to put on the pressure once again, trying to constrict his opponent. The Ghost Academy is going down behind this as well. Nice feedback, limits a little bit of this Bio's longevity, but he's going to kill off a few Zealots if he can micro well enough. Meanwhile, there's a force field going down in the middle of the map here, just to try and stifle any kind of movement in the middle of the map for Dream.
And Dream is forcing the warp-ins in the main base because of this. Once again, trying to run in, getting more scouting information. But the main battle now occurring at the Zalnaga Watchtower. Here comes the Guardian Shield. Dream is trying to spread his forces out. So far, Storm is not an issue. There are no High Templars in this mix, but the fourth base is under attack. The Planetary Fortress upgrade is not ready, even landing the Vikings now, trying to do damage. He realizes there are currently no Colossi, so he wants to do damage, but he has to cancel. The Planetary Fortress upgrades is now retreating with it. Can he save it though? A lot of damage dealt to the command center.
Oh, it looks like it might go down. He needs to bring a few SCVs to actually repair that. He does indeed. Meanwhile, Force Field's working against the Zealots in the middle of the map there. His third base is now up and running behind this very, very nicely. And his +3 armor is going to finish very soon. That is a very, very nice position for his armor upgrades to be in right now.
Yeah, +2/+2 researched for Dream. He's nearly completed with that. We are going into personal cloaking here, but those two, they are not giving each other a second to breathe and to just look at this game. Currently, both of them are just trying to fight for positions, trying to push fourth bases back. Drop play occurring. Now a Warp Prism headed towards the main base of Dream, who doesn't have any units here to defend. And here comes the Storm.
He's giving as good as he gets here as he captures a few of those SCVs, weakening a lot of them as well. F1st has actually killed off 12 workers right now, while still threatening in the middle of the map. 30 supply up here, 5 ghosts are on the way for Dream, but will they be out in time to help this force as best as he can do and save the fourth?
He forces the lift over at the fourth base once again. He needs to go back now, and that dangerous tech switch occurs. First decides that for now it's time to move into Colossi. He has 6 High Templars with the Storm, researching extended thermal lands. We have more and more upgrades being researched for him now with a double forge. +2/+2 is done for Dream though. For now he has a slight advantage in the upgrades, but first is also heading into a fourth base. Bottom right, building the Nexus, which will give him the extra income, especially the gas that he needs here to go for all these upgrades that he wants, and maybe even later on a second robotics bay to go for the double, so second robotics facility to go for the double Colossus production.
Yeah, that's a really, really devastating thing to swing into if your opponent is not ready for it. The Warp Prism harassment is on the way again. Stims up though, trying to bring down that Warp Prism. Will he be able to get it in time? The Zealots are chewing away at the Marines. He does get the Warp Prism. That's a nice pickoff, but the Zealots are still there, threatening whilst First pushes in the middle.
Force in the middle right now, and here's Dream trying to set his army up, trying to get into position with the EMPs. The main base still being attacked by those Zealots, and we also have a couple at the third base. First is everywhere. He's attacking his opponent at all fronts. 24 Harvesters killed so far, going into the Dark Shrine now. This was great by him, and he's still doing damage.
Yeah, the Marines try and come back here in his base, killing off the Zealots in there, but still the Zealots are at his third base as well, being very, very pesky. They get cleaned up. Dream right now trying to just cover all of the locations he possibly can do, but First is stretching him so thinly and constricting him himself. He's constantly been denying this fourth base. How can you plant that macro with that going on?
Dream hasn't crossed the middle of a map in an eternity. The macro that you just mentioned, it's incredible. First just attacking everything, all these bases, and now finally Dream is saying like, well, I have to do something. He wants to put on aggression, but he can't. Another warp in at the top, and suddenly those Zealots are drawing him out of position, which gives First the chance to position his army, going for the fourth base once again. First is just everywhere in this game.
Yeah, and he's about to max out. This is going to be so scary for Dream. Can he hold on against this onslaught here, as First still constantly ripping apart the income here of Dream? It's very, very difficult for him to really plan any more infrastructure here to catch up with First when every single time he's getting his workers killed off. 34 have gone down currently.
34 in total, and just look at the money that we have for the two of them. First with 1,500 minerals, all the gas that he needs. He has the production. He's going into Colossi now. He has 4 of them, and so far he hasn't really shown how many Colossi he has. He has still kept them in the back. There is just no information for Dream. He only has 6 Vikings, and he doesn't even have the resources to build a lot more. First is moving out now. He has been dominating this game so far with all the units that we now see on screen, and here come those Colossi, and Dream is looking at this. He's like, what the hell is going on? I need Vikings, but he can't build them.
15 goes to try and deal with this. 3-3 is on the way. Will first hit before that even comes to fruition. Yes, he will. He charges in with a lot of zealots. He has a lot of firepower. The soldiers go down.
He's everywhere, and here come those Colossi. He's pushing in. The planetary fortress is not an obstacle anymore. Dream is dropping in supply. He has no answer for this huge amount of Colossi, or has he? He's trying to move in, but here comes the next round of Warbeams. Here come the Zealots. He wants to end this game. The fourth base becomes the one crucial point for Dream to defend with the help of the planetary. Can he pull it off? So much DPS by first.
The planetary fortress, that last bastion of hope here. Will his dreams be shattered at this point? Right now, First kills it off. He kills the fourth base. Dream, half the supply right now of First as he warps in tons more units. Blink and +3 on the way, as well as tons of Archons. Dream is having to scramble to try and hold in this.
Finally, his +3 is about to be completed, but is it too late? It looks like it. +3 armor, 2 shields and 2 attack upgrades for First. He's sending DTs in again. He's trying to take down even more Harvesters, and he's pushing in the middle of the map. 100 supply up for the Protoss player, and he has all the answers. Even more going in with the Warp Prism. He just doesn't stop. Dream at least sees the Warp Prism, takes it down, but First is already on his way to the third.
What a beautiful game here by First. Killing off this third might just seal him the deal as he forces the lift up. He kills off a lot of SCVs that are looking to retreat here. The Vikings trying to kill off as many of the costs as they can do, but there's a lot of bio coming in.
Oh my god, here it is, another storm, and this is the nail in the coffin. GG! And LGIM Spurs is the champion of the first major event in 2013 here in Poland, the IEM Katowice champion.
Wow, First here taking this championship. He was shaking a little bit as he took his headphones off, but that is it. Done and dusted. The Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, Poland, give it up for First!
What an amazing play in the entire tournament. He dropped 2 maps, nothing else. He was defeating everyone, and he is getting standing ovations here in the arena, and deservedly so.
Deservedly so. LGIM adds another trophy to that extensive trophy cabinet here. And it looks like, well, you know, he's got to be thrilled.
What an amazing play. Poland, give it up again for First!
Such strong Protoss play. That last game was amazing. He looked so dominant, so dominant.
Dream has been playing such a great tournament. For him, it's really disappointing here. He took down Parting of all people, one of the strongest Protoss players in the world, a champion, and then against First, he just was not strong enough. Poland, give it up for Dream as well. An amazing performance by our 2 Koreans in the final.
This Polish crowd, so polite. You guys have been fantastic all tournament long. It's been a pleasure to cast here in Katowice.
It definitely has been. It was such a treat. And here we have First, our champion in Poland. What an amazing event. It's such a great final.
It has been, it has been. It's been such a great tournament as well. It's been absolutely amazing.
It has been incredible. What an amazing last series that we saw. Just all these TVPs leading up to this moment, where First it was the major question after winning all these maps against his opponent throughout the tournament. Is there finally an answer? Can Dream take him down? And Dream couldn't. He was tying up the score after game number 2, but then First just showed us how strong he really is. He was going at it, and especially on Daybreak, what a great map control by First.
Yeah, I think to finish this up, guys, one last word from us. I think Katowice IEM, best IEM.
It was incredible. It was really amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure casting for you. We're giving it back to the analysis desk, to Jared, to QXC, and Todd. See you soon.
LGIM First, champion of Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, and it is the best Intel Extreme Masters ever. Certainly everyone that I've been at or watched, the crowd was incredible, the play was incredible. I'm goosebumped a little bit, lots of cheers here.
I was a little saddened that we didn't see Dream do one of his fast 3cc builds that seemed to just be so powerful against Parting.
Yeah.
Used them multiple times to great effect, and for whatever reason, he just decided they wouldn't be appropriate in this series. And
I
don't
feel
know,
like First was just waiting for that. He kept on going for the quick robo.
Yeah.
And had he seen a third command center, he would have caught a side press with it.
You think so?
Yes. I feel like the counter to First is built since he only sees a wall. Usually he does not see the command center, or at least until not until very late. If you really try to hide the location of your natural, and then as a Terran you go for 2 racks with a reactor first, I really feel like you can put some very good pressure on First, because he goes for gate, nexus, and then he goes for robo, and very late 2 additional gates. So he wouldn't have enough to hold, maybe. He would lose his expansion, and then as a Terran you expand and you're ahead.
Or even just multiple barracks, like a 3 or 4 racks type of thing on one base. If they're going gate robo,
Yeah.
they're not
You just
gonna
want to finish him, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. We can jump into the replay, actually. We can look exactly what's happened in this game. Can we?
In a moment here, we're going to take a look. This is pretty much when Dream is gearing up for his medevac pressure.
Yes. This comes just before 10 minutes here, and Dream, he has his first 2 medivacs. He has 2 more on the way. His army supply is 42. And usually the Protoss, he's been chrono boosting workers pretty hard at this point in the game. So the Terran will have a lot more army. This is the point where, as a Protoss, you're supposed to cut probes and start making a lot of army to basically hold this aggression. But Dream, he does this so well. Actually, right now he's just going to try to go up the ramp. He's going to steam up and move up there. But very nice 2 force fields. I don't think you can force field once here and not let Marines go up. They're like Zerglings, they get through.
Yeah, I don't think so.
So just to be safe, he dual force fielded here.
And this ends up working out really well. Notice all those Marines all clumped up. Dream really needed to pick those up. If he had been able to save all those Marines, it gives him a lot more play at this point in the game. If you lose too much with this pressure, then you get to a point where Protoss is producing either around what you're producing or a little bit more, even if their extra gateways have kicked in, and the pressure just stops. You're not able to continue doing it because you've lost too much too early.
So here Dream picks up a couple units and tries to drop in the main. Those Stalkers were in position. They're going to be able to snipe a medivac full of units.
Yep.
This is like the most satisfying feeling, I think, in StarCraft when you can do that as a Protoss. And I have to say, First, SimCity in his main is beautiful. Like, he has his gates all grouped together. If he has to chrono boost all of his gates at once with, say, 3 nexuses, they are all going to be next to each other. He puts his production facilities in a corner where it will be very hard to drop and kill it, unlike on Entomb Valley. And yeah, from there it was pretty much standard, at least first the standard, being always 1 Colossus followed by charge and level 2 armor upgrade for his Zealots. He always gets a lot of those, and he basically does a transition into Zealots and Archons or Templars. In the meantime, the Terran almost always will take a 3rd base before the Protoss. But at least first, he started making pylons everywhere, and he's going to be able to send Zealots for information. He knows about the 3rd base already. And Dream, he started scanning a lot for observers at this point in the game, I feel. And he was really thinking about doing a drop here.
The pylons were really important for first play, like you said, spreading them out everywhere. It's really important to do that as a Protoss player because it gives you a lot of options for multi-pronged attacks. You basically have a lot of pylons where in this map it'd be like above the 3rd, above the 4th. That allows you to do Zealot run-bys at those bases pretty easily. And then Warp Prisms at the main, and you get this very... Basically what First did for most of this game is warp in from above, run to the 3rd, run to the 4th, warp in the main, and then also push straight through the center with your army, making it very hard for Dream to take his 4th.
He did like 3-pronged attacks, like drop in the main and send units everywhere. Like you said, this is such a strong way to play the late game, because if you go for the direct fight, you put it all on the line. But if you send units everywhere, it means you really try to out-multitask your opponents, you really try to cause mistakes from him, and a lot of the time it will pay off.
Yep. As a Terran player without supply-less static defense, it's a little bit harder to deal with some of this multi-pronged aggression. There are no photon cannons, there are no spine crawlers, and I was actually a little surprised that Dream didn't do a better job of clearing out the pylons above his base and also just putting a bunker at the 3rd.
And I was surprised that First attacked here. I would have never attacked against this army, but you know what? He has level 2 armor, and he does well in this fight. He forces Dream to pull back. He makes the force base lift here and go away. He's even good. actually not killing it.
Yeah,
barely
it was-
not here,
it was
but
close.
He gets a couple more units here. And first, I feel like he reads the game so much better than a lot of players here. Like this attack, almost nobody would have tried it, I feel. Like I wouldn't almost never go into this army with what First had, but just because he had the Archons, the charge loss with the armor upgrades, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yep.
And now First, he's got his upgrades going pretty well. He's already upgraded Storm. It's time for him to resume Colossus production, and that's exactly what he does. We see him throwing down a lot of pylons here, and basically to be done with making pylons for the rest of this game.
Yeah, and this is something that's pretty common at high-level play and something that will help pretty much any player do. Once you get to about 130, 150 supply, you can usually just go ahead and build your depots, pylons, overlords, whatever, until you're out of 200. And that just makes the macro so much easier, especially at that point in the game. There's usually a lot going on. There's a lot more things to take care of. So if you just build all those buildings, whatever, get that out of the way, it can make the rest of the game much smoother.
And yeah, okay, we're gonna see the three-pronged attack here by First, dropping in the main, sending some zealots in the third, and attacking up front. And yeah, as you were saying, this is such a nice way to play the late game here. If he attacks with everything here, he might just get his entire EMP, his entire army EMP'd and lose everything.
Well, this army in the middle is not as strong as it could be because there's so much supply spread around. It's like when Terran drops in multiple places.
Yeah.
You're just trying to attack where they're weak. You're not trying to drop in two places and then also attack in the middle and have that head-on engagement.
You know, we have somebody here who knows a little bit about playing Protoss, and I'd love to get his opinion because there was so much Protoss play in the tournament, a Protoss winning the tournament. Do you think Grubby should come over here?
Grubby? Grubby? Grubby?
Grubby? Grubby?
You wanna sit down and give us some of your thoughts on this game? Hey man.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Okay, Grubby, what do you think? Tell us your thoughts about this game. And
I don't get how First was able to dictate the pace of this game so well. Like, I was so impressed. Like, Sokka and me were watching this game together. It's like...
You mean at this point in the game or before?
Yeah, I mean, at this point he was like winning, right? But not a single time do you see First go into a fight, which could be like the biggest mistake of the game. Like, in any PvT that I play like 5 battles which are like game-losing battles. Like, accidentally. Like, oh, this fight is like really bad. But he doesn't take any of those. The only way that he uses Psionic Storm is when he's running away, like to cover his retreat. And he does a lot of retreats, like tactical retreats.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is why I said that First is so good in the late game. That's because he never commits. He never seems to commit. And against Zerg, it's the same thing. He goes for a mothership, he drops War Prisms everywhere, and he waits until the Zerg tilts and attack. And then he has his 2 Vortex ready, and then he catches all the Warlords. I'm not kidding. I saw him play 40 minutes game against Zerg and he did this.
It's the same thing with his Storms. Either he covers his retreat, or, okay, if I got Zealots in your third and in your main, your control is going to get worse. That's when he uses Storm on the offense. You saw that around that Zelnaga tower at some point, where, look, like right now, Dream isn't paying as much attention as he could be, because he's got Zealots everywhere.
Yeah, it's
impressive.
It's more of a almost like a reactionary style. Not reactionary in that he's waiting for his opponent to do something, but it's like he's not a brute force player. He's not I'm going to get to 200 as soon as I can and then I'm just going to attack you. It's like I'm going to poke you here, I'm going to poke you over here, and then once you're a little off balance, then I'm going to kick you. Then I'm going to knock you down and I'm going to take you out.
And he plays PvP the same way. Like, he really favors like Stargate type of macro plays where he can poke until the situation is favorable and then take a fight.
Yep.
Even I've seen him play like after Phoenixes in PvP, he'll switch to Robobay, but at first he'll again get Speed Prism with Immortal Drop. This is how he likes to play, like harass the opponent to no end and only commit when it really looks very good.
Reminds me of someone. Playing Orc on Twisted Meadows.
Anyone would like to play that way if they can make it happen, but it's hard.
First pulling very far ahead at the end of this game. Dream kind of fell apart. He had such a hard time splitting his army, and in the end, it changed everything in this game.
And when you think about it, right, if you play Protoss purely straight up, you're not actually making the best use of the race, because you take Marines and Zealots, you put them against each other unmicroed, Zealots win. You micro really well, and in big groups, the Marines win. So why should you try to only go for one big fight? If there's Zealots in 4 places and Marines in 4 places, is there really a Terran who can stutter step micro all 4 groups?
Yeah, it's a really good point to make, and it's really, that understanding is so powerful. It's so good to know that is a thing, just like you said.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's a thing, but it's another thing to do it. Like just the way that it's all coordinated with 4 Zealots coming in here, and then the Prism, and then moving in the front. Really, really impressive.
It's also, like you said, like, you know, okay, yeah, if I throw a bunch of Zealots in different places, and that's really strong, but and also setting up for that is very difficult.
Yeah.
Just because you go into the game and you're like, I'm going to put Zealots everywhere, you have to have the pylons in place. You have to have the War Prisms. Well, guys, do we have any more thoughts on these series?
I don't know if it's the last time we talk, but I'd like to say that this has been a pleasure, and I hope to be back in Poland sometime.
Yeah, guys.
And exactly 1 year from now, there should be another Katowice IEM. I mean,
maybe sooner.
Yeah,
who knows?
Maybe sooner. QXC knows something.
I hope so. That'd be fantastic. I had a great time here.
Yeah, it was a fantastic tournament. Thanks everyone for watching, and I mean, I think everyone enjoyed themselves like crazy here.
Thanks guys for tuning in. We're going to go to a commercial break. When we get back, we're going to have the award ceremony. Congratulations to LG IM First for taking this tournament.